healthcare projects, including completing zonal hospitals and general hospitals. 5. Youth empowerment. Approximately 6.2 billion naira is being allocated for digital resource centers, sports development, and finally, women affairs, where a sum of 5.2 billion naira is earmarked for social inclusion. It is important, distinguished colleagues, above all, to note that the spending plan prioritizes investment in critical sectors of the state, such as infrastructure, health, including free drugs for malaria and other common ailments, education, and also agriculture, which is projected to generate approximately 6,000 jobs. Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, the budget aims to promote inclusive growth and development with a focus on sustainable economic expansion and improved living conditions for residents, with funding sources from Federal Allocation Committee allocations, internally generated revenue, statutory allocations, mineral funds, VAT, and refunds. This budget is designed to stabilize the state, restore critical services, and improve livelihoods. I therefore urge my dear colleagues to support the second reading of this bill. I thank you, Mr. President, and distinguished colleagues.
The Deputy Senate President.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. I stand to commend the leader of the Senate for bringing forward these requests by the administrator of Rivers State seeking for the approval of this august Senate so that funds will be made available to his office to run the affairs of the state. The request is in order, and the way the request is presented in the National Assembly is something that the administrator should be commended for, because the request contains the source of funds that are going to be utilized to fund the activities as outlined in the request. This is quite in order, and what he did is quite in order. And the content is self-explanatory, very much well articulated and direct to the point. Because clearly the source of funds are made available, are stated here, as well as the items to be funded are also stated. These are items that are critical to the development of the state, very, very critical, very, very important. Therefore, because of the nature, the well-articulated nature of the request, because it's very direct to the point, there's nothing that ambiguous here, and very, very clear. I urge my colleagues to give our note so that the request will be treated expeditiously, so that the people of Rivers State will have the benefit of what is stated here, so that they can, the administrator will go straight away to begin to work for the development of the state. I say something, Mr. President.
Thank you. Chairman Appropriation, Olamilekan.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Adeola Solomon Olamilekan, representing Ogun West Senatorial District and the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Mr. President, this is in line with the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We are performing our constitutional duty, that we are working on the appropriation document of Rivers State House of Assembly. Is a clear indication that the Nigerian Senate is up to the task of ensuring that governance still exists in Rivers State. Mr. President, I align myself perfectly with the Deputy Senate President that the document before us is unambiguous, it is clear, because the budget, even though we don't know the name in which it was christened, budget of emergency. Sir, we don't know the name in which the budget was christened, but from the brief submission of the leader of the Senate, it's clear that this document before us is something that a lot of effort has been put into it to ensure that the people of Rivers State can continue to feel the presence of governance in the state. And by my own rough estimate, I observe that more than 35 or 40% of this budget is on infrastructure, as highlighted by the leader of the Senate, with 324 billion being allocated to infrastructural development and 32 billion allotted to agriculture and 75.6 billion allotted to education and 166 billion allotted to healthcare. Mr. President, it's a clear indication that this is a serious document, and I want to implore that when the committee will sit to consider this document, they should also place emphasis on what constitute the recurrent expenditure of overhead and personnel, because according to the document, the budget is aimed at creating additional 6,000 jobs for the people of Rivers State. And if such document, if all that is contained is in that document, it shows that this is one document that we should allow to have an expeditious passage by this Senate. And on that note, Mr. President, I rise to second the debate on the Rivers State Appropriation Bill 2025. Mr. President, distinguished colleague, I so submit.
Distinguished colleagues, is there anybody that is opposed to this bill going for a second reading? Okay. Those who support that this bill be read a second time, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, I be for an act to authorize the issue from the Consolidated Revenue Funds of Rivers State the total sum of 1,300,662,492,442 naira only, of which 120,809,305,904 naira only is for debt service. 286,727,373 naira only is for recurrent non-debt expenditure. Why the 1,250,259,164 naira only is for capital expenditure for the year ending on the 31st day of December 2025, and for related matters 2025 SB 843 second reading.
Distinguished colleagues, a bill for an act to authorize the issuance from the Consolidated Revenue Fund of Rivers State the total sum of 1,380,662,592,442 naira only, of which 120,809,305,904 305,000 naira. 904 naira only is for debt services. The sum of 287 billion 376 million 727,373 naira only is for recurrent non-debt expenditure, while the sum of 1,770 billion 250 million 859,164 naira only is for capital expenditure for the year ending 31st day of December 2025 and for related matters, second reading taken. The bill is now committed to the Special Ad Hoc Committee to supervise the activities of the interim administrator of Rivers State and to revert to the Senate in 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Leader of the Senate.